What is the untold tale behind Kyle Larson's incredible achievement at Hendrick Motorsports? Rick Hendrick, the racing great, has finally revealed the secret that pushed Larson to the top. But what motivated Hendrick to make the risky decision that changed Larson's career? How did Larson's cool approach in 2019 evolve into a winning mindset? Join us as we explore the truth surrounding Larson and his crew boss, Cliff Daniels. But before that, please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button for more whereabouts on NASCAR. Right in the heart of Sin City, the playoffs kicked off with a bang during the round of 8. It was a real hot ticket as the HMS superstar, Kyle Larson, booked himself a one-way ticket to the Championship 4. He didn't just win, he drove his car straight to victory lane, leaving his competitors in the dust. Larson's gunning for his second championship in 2023, and it's the same old crew chief who's been right by his side, giving him advice for years. These two have been through thick and thin together all the way back to 2019 when Cliff Daniels and Larson joined forces. It turns out that the engineer at Hendrick Motorsports and the laid-back speedster, Larson, have some kind of magical chemistry that's been helping them win. The number 5 crew chief, Cliff Daniels, had a stint of 50 races with Jimmie Johnson, and his track record wasn't exactly a fireworks show. No wins, just 5 top 5 finishes, and an average race finish of 18.2. All this while the legendary 7-time Cup champion Jimmie Johnson was wrapping up his remarkable career. It's safe to say his resume wasn't shouting promising future. Now, you might be wondering what in the world made them team up Daniels with the red-hot Kyle Larson. Well, the man behind the scenes at Hendrick Motorsports, Rick Hendrick, can shed some light on this. When asked about this decision, Hendrick admitted that it was time for Daniels to explore new horizons, and the chance to pair him with Larson was just too tempting to resist. Larson's extensive experience on the track was like a siren's call for the team, and they decided to take a calculated risk. Hendrick explained, "Well, I think it was time to move him, and the opening was there. Bringing Kyle on, Kyle had a lot of experience driving all kinds of cars, and we felt that this was a good combination at the time. And there again, did not know the leadership skills that Cliff had, and that we could see the drive and the desire. But he was a little bit more subdued as an engineer than he has been as a crew chief. While Daniels might have come across as more reserved in his engineer role, his leadership skills and sheer determination shone brightly when he stepped into his new position. When you're dealing with a legend like Jimmie Johnson, making the perfect pairing is absolutely crucial, and Hendrick wasn't willing to take any chances. With Kyle Larson, they spotted a potential for a dynamic duo, and let me tell you, that gamble paid off big time. Hendrick stressed the importance of the right match, saying, "So when you've got a champion like Jimmie Johnson, you try to make sure that you put the right person with them, and you don't want to make a mistake. With Kyle, we just felt like Cliff had shown he was ready, and 1, that's an awesome combination, as it's proven to be. 2, Cliff is a very intense guy, and Kyle is a little bit of a laid-back guy, but they click, and the marriage there has been a very good one." The secret ingredient in this successful recipe? It's all about chemistry. Despite their different personalities, Daniels, the intense engineer, and Larson, the easygoing speed demon, they like each other, respect each other, and they want to work together, and that's the secret sauce in this business. Sometimes you put two together, and the chemistry just isn't there, and it has worked with these two. In a sport where every split second counts and can be the difference between the podium and the middle of the pack, it's pretty fascinating when you find a driver as calm as a cucumber. Kyle Larson, the guy who's been scorching the racetracks, was remarkably unfazed about who was calling the shots in his pit. Larson admitted, "I didn't really know Cliff, so it was hard for me to have an opinion on somebody I didn't know." But here's the untold story behind the scenes. Cliff Daniels, the man in the spotlight, was well aware of how ruthless this business can be. He acknowledged the harsh truth, saying, "It's a results-driven business." After a season that left much to be desired, Daniels couldn't help but ponder the possibility of being out of a job. He confessed, "I remember telling my wife at the end of the year, I don't know if I'm going to have a job. If you just average our finishing position, regardless of fast car or not, it was not a good year. And if our company has decisions to make moving forward, I get it. I can't dispute that." Rick Hendrick's number 5 Chevrolet team has been an absolute force this season, showcasing unmatched speed. When Kyle Larson dominated the stages in Las Vegas, securing his spot as the first Championship 4 contender, the sheer velocity he displayed had fans on the edge of their seats. And alongside Larson, the credit undoubtedly goes to crew chief Cliff Daniels. It's almost surreal to think there was a time when Hendrick Motorsports team owner Rick Hendrick had doubts about his championship-winning crew chief. Unfortunately, his uncertainty led to a career-altering move for the Hall of Famer, Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie Johnson had an illustrious career with Hendrick Motorsports number 48 crew chief Chad Knaus. Over their 17-year partnership, this iconic duo amassed an incredible 7 Cup Series championships and 83 race wins. Their remarkable success was duly recognized when Johnson and Knaus were both inducted into NASCAR's Hall of Fame simultaneously. Sharing this priceless moment, Johnson wrote, "We rewrote the record books together, so it's only fitting we're inducted together." However, when the time came to pair Johnson with a new crew chief, Rick Hendrick faced the daunting task of finding someone to fill Knaus' incredibly experienced shoes. While no one could realistically replace Chad Knaus, Cliff Daniels had been learning the ropes under Knaus since he joined as a race engineer for the number 48 team back in 2014. Daniels played a key role in Johnson's 7th championship title in 2016 and would have been the logical choice to take over the team's leadership. However, Hendrick opted to go with the existing crew chief, Kevin Meendering, instead of promoting from within the ranks. It was a decision that would haunt Hendrick midway through the 2019 season. Daniels was eventually promoted mid-season and named the number 48 crew chief, but by then, Johnson had lost the momentum he had earlier in his career and decided to retire a year later. As Cliff Daniels stood on the cusp of his 2nd championship title, Rick Hendrick was confronted with questions about his earlier questionable decision. In an interview shared by Auto Racing Daily, the 74-year-old team owner openly acknowledged his unwarranted hesitation. Hendrick confessed that was probably a mistake. At the same time, Hendrick explained the rationale behind the move. He recalled, "I think you want the guy to mature and you want to see what they can do. It's easy to look back and say, wish I had done it then, knowing how good Cliff is, and how quick he learned, and how quick he matured, and how he became a leader." Hendrick continued, "It has been so impressive, and in hindsight, I probably would have done something different. It's a crapshoot sometimes when you move a guy in the crew chief position that can be a great engineer, but can they lead a team? Can they lead people? You don't really know that until you put them in that position, and then you see what they're capable of doing. I'm probably slower moving a crew chief than I am the drivers. But looking back, you just don't know how a guy is going to blossom as a leader, and I mean, that's the key in this sport." However, the legendary crew chief, Chad Knaus, had a different perspective on the matter than Rick Hendrick. As Kyle Larson and the number 5 team gear up for the most critical race of the season at Phoenix Raceway, they're aiming to clinch the coveted trophy for the 2nd time in their 4-year partnership. The man at the helm, crew chief Cliff Daniels, has been a key figure in their journey. Interestingly, HMS's vice president of competition, Chad Knaus, had a hunch about Daniels' potential back when they worked together on Jimmie Johnson's number 48 team. When Daniels eventually took over Knaus' role, the highly respected crew chief was quick to vouch for Daniels' abilities. Knaus affirmed, "First and foremost, you're never ready until you put the pants on and go for it. But I think he has been prepared for this. He has driven race cars. He understands the mechanics of race cars. He has built his own race cars." Knaus emphasized, "He has been a crew chief in the Cup Series for years now. Sat right next to me for 6 years. Won a championship. This guy gets it. He knows it. He understands what it is that Jimmie Johnson needs. He's not afraid to speak his mind. He's not afraid to challenge Jimmie. He's not afraid to do what needs to be done to the race cars to make them faster. And that's the kind of guy that really suits that number 48 group." Kyle Larson's exceptional performance this year is a testament to the fact that Cliff Daniels is an ideal fit for the number 5 team. Rick Hendrick himself has come to recognize this over the years, but will it be enough to secure a victory at the finish line this week? What do you think? So that's all we've got for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what you think of the video in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in the upcoming video.